We have a very special pastor. I truly feel that if you really get to know him, you have a real appreciation. But he took me on a little a trip to do communion, and this fellow was passing away, and we went in, and he was apologetic. He didn't realize the condition he was in, and so we went to go give communion, and I stood at the end of the bed, and there was Pastor, and I watched how tender he was and how he handled the situation. And something I will never forget. The way he looked at Pastor. The man was a Christian, but he said that he hasn't been a Christian all of his life. He talked about these other years where he wasn't a Christian. And he was basically in his bed reflecting. And he wasn't happy about those years. He was very concerned. And I can't forget the look on his face where he just turned to Pastor and said about these years not being a Christian. And I thought to myself, wow, how would I feel in that position? And now I look back and I think about a changed heart, and I think about the opportunities. How many opportunities have I missed? Every time there's a kid being baptized, and then I commit, but I've never done anything. You know, Sweet and I both agree, it's time to wake up. Be part of their lives. And that fella has made me really stop and think about these things, what are important. And you know what? There's payoff. There's payoff, there's seeds to be sown, and sometimes the Lord gives you that opportunity to see that grow. There's a young man in the congregation. Sweet and I refer to him as our little Barnabas, Zach. You know what that guy did? When Eunice passed on, Sweet called me up and we were chatting. But that guy, he sent Sweet a card, a sympathy card. And they got together, building those boxes, doing a little welding and stuff. The way Sweet, that really choked him up. I mean, he thought that was the neatest. I thought that was the neatest thing. So these are the seeds that we sow, and then we end up having a friendship. And when I see that guy, you know what he said? When's the next Pop's Diner? Now I know why Jake and Val invested. And I remember, I vividly remember my mom saying in the car after a function, she says, that's really nice of them to do what they're doing. They had 3 kids. Jake had a job that he had to work. I think a pretty important job. So it took time. But they made us important. And I'm forever in their debt, because in that situation I learned all about Jesus. I learned how to be a God. They were godly men and women. And they were fine examples. And I needed to see that back then. So I hope that explains.